So my autistic life and how I designed it to create success. I'm going to cover everything step by step for you right now. Let's get into it. Okay, guys, so for years and years, right, I was diagnosed with autism at 26 years old. So that gave me like 26 years of struggling, fumbling about in the dark, and going from, pillar to post, this doctor, this specialist, that specialist. And nobody knew what was going on. And because of that, it taught me loads of kind of really interesting things about my life and struggles. I was always one of these people who was like, how am I going to get the best out of it? How can I change the situation? Autistic people are problem solvers, right? When I see a problem, I don't see a problem. I see a potential towards a solution. And the other thing I like about problems is that when you have a problem, you know that you're moving in the right direction. Because if you stand still, you get no problems, but you're standing still, right? And when you're moving forward, when you're progressing towards your goal, the cool thing is you're going to come across problems. So when I get a problem, I know I'm moving in the right direction. So we should never be scared of problems. I would love for you to leave a review for this video/podcast if you have anything to add, because it would really help me out on this channel and also help me learn and grow from your comments. Knowing this, growing up and being kind of like, oh man, I wish like this was different, or I wish that was different, or, how can I improve my condition? I knew there was something going on. Even though I was undiagnosed, I still knew there was something amiss or something going on that I couldn't really figure out. And so because of that, I devised loads of different plans. And I've journaled out kind of 10 steps here to how I aced my life and made it the most productivity-based, motivational, and kind of just get out there and get it done type of life, even being on the autism spectrum and having ADHD. I also have dyslexia, OCD, depression, multiple mental health issues. And that's okay, because we're all different, we're all individual, and those things are going to happen. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, guys, if you're enjoying this type of video, I make videos like this every week, so make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Okay, so the framework for this is very simple. It's a 10-step process, and I'm going to go through each one of those bits right now, starting with number one. Number one is I journal everything, and I journal every emotion and thought that I have. So I have this little book that I carry around with me. And in that book, it's a little notepad like this. And in that notepad, I have two things. One is I have this little a card here that I sellotape to the inside, or I stick it to the inside. And the card changes. This one is abundance. This one says abundance. And then on my new journal, potential, unlimited potential written on it. And in this journal, I highlight all my thoughts and my worries and my goals and my emotions. Or how am I feeling at that moment in time? Am I sick? Am I worried? Is there something that is amiss? When I put my thoughts down onto paper, when I physically write out my thoughts onto a small journal pad, something quite magical happens. The worry, the energy, the kind of that resistance in my head is no longer sitting there. It's sitting on a piece of paper within my little journal that I can take around. Then I can look at it when I really need to go, okay, I need to get this thing done. And the reason that's important is because it frees up space in your mind, in your head, and allows you to be at peace with a lot of the things that are causing you stress in your daily life. So journaling and having your emotions, thoughts, worries, fears, everything written down in the journal, obviously if you keep it safe, or you can code word, things in there, which is fine. This is so important, and this has remarkably changed my mind. Very interesting. And I'm dyslexic, so my handwriting is absolutely terrible. So that was number one. Okay, so the next thing I did is I took everything that I needed to do, because I came across this point in my life where I get this moment of inertia, where I've got loads of things to do, and I want to do them, and then it comes to the point to do it, and I just can't do it. I have too many things, I'm overwhelmed, and I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to that point, that position to go and do those things. So I decided that because I felt like I had loads of things on, I would make a list. I'd get a different notepad or a piece of paper, and I would write down all of the things that I needed to do, right? A big list of things. My to-do list is like a lot smaller than you think when you actually write it down. But then I said, okay, I'm going to pick 4 of those items, and I'm going to pick 4 of those items, and I'm going to put 4 of those to-do lists. I'm going to make a tiny 4-item to-do list per day. And so I can manage 4 things in a day, right? Maybe you can only manage 2 things. Maybe you can only manage 1 thing. Shorten that list, take stuff off your list. And this is called compounding the things that you need to do, because by taking off 1 thing per day off your list, you're going to compound the things that you need to do, and you're going to move a lot smoother. Now, this has freed up a bunch of stuff within my life. It actually helped me organize all my work, helped me get my tasks completed, get my projects done. And that was really important. So get a big list of all your things that you need to do, and then make a tiny, small 4 or 1 piece to-do list per day. Super dope. Okay, setting timers for everything. Oh my gosh, number 3 is my all-time favorite. So I have an iPhone, and I use it for everything. Like, I have an iPhone and an iPad. Actually, if I didn't have an iPhone or an iPad, I don't even know what would happen. I think my life would just not work. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I did before I had these things. If ever I have an appointment, I put it in my iPhone and I get it to remind me. If I have a work schedule, like I've got something to do and it has to be done by a certain day or a certain hour, I set a timer. I say I've got this amount of time to do this project. That's it. When you set times on things, when you have a timer for everything, what happens is it allows you to forget about the fact that you've got to do something else next, because you'll be alerted when that time is up, but it allows you to focus on the thing you're doing right now. And by doing this, it frees up that kind of, oh, I can't get started on this task because I've got another one pending in an hour or an hour and a half. And those things really played in my mind. So I was just loving the fact that I could actually change this. So that being said, make sure when you set timers, you give yourself enough time. Try this, play around with it. But timers are really good. They're visual representations and they help you with things. Like, I'm going to do the writing work for the next 2 hours, right? Set a timer and it tells you when the writing work is up. So if you are struggling and you're looking for a therapist, we actually have on-hand autistic and neurodivergent therapists here at the TheAspieWorld. Now, if you're looking for coaching and therapy combined together with a therapist, Carla, who works here at the TheAspieWorld, who is ADHD and is a registered therapist, will do online sessions with you. All you have to do is follow the link down below or go to theaspieworld.com/Carla with a K and book an appointment with Carla. All right, guys. Okay, number 4 is focus with the cinema mode. Now, the cinema mode is really interesting. So I needed to get through a bunch of stuff on my computer, right? And I was like, how am I going to sit down and do all this stuff? I need to write a bunch of things. And I am such a person who just kind of picks up my phone and checks it, and picks up my phone, checks, somebody's text me, and then, of course, ADHD down, everything just goes out the window, right? I'm just, oh my goodness. So what do? Is I get my phone, I put it on silent, and then I put it in a drawer, and I pretend that I'm in the cinema. When you go to the cinema or the movie theater, they tell you turn your cell phones off or put them onto airplane mode or whatever, right? So you don't disturb the other people watching the movie. And it's a good thing. We all do it, because the thing at the end of the day is you want to sit there and concentrate on the movie. You don't want to be sitting there texting your buddy about something ridiculous, right? So if you treat your working life as if you were going to the movies to see a theater and you're the person that you don't want to disrupt, then make sure you put focus mode on or turn your mute on your phone, put it in a drawer and tap it away. This revolutionized the way I work, and it took my mind away from kind of just scrolling endlessly to being able to actually be more productive. Okay, number 5 is work-related or job-related. A lot of autistic individuals have issues with finding work, generating income, career. There's a bunch of different things, right? So what did I do to change this around? I found it difficult. When I was 26, I was in and out of different types of jobs. I could never stay in one job long enough because I'd get depression and then autistic kind of, issues, and it was just bad, right? And then so my doctor's like, well, you can't really work more than 2 days a week in a typical office environment. I thought, well, that's ridiculous. Who can survive on 2 days a week? So I needed to figure something out fast, right? Because, we all need to earn money. So I realized I needed to monetize all of my personal assets. And that means I wrote a list of everything that I was good at, right? I'm good at social media. I'm good at editing videos. I'm good at helping people, build really exciting campaigns for their businesses. I'm good at playing music. I'm good at creating stories for books, or I'm good at, researching stuff, right? And so I listed out all the things I was good at, and then I monetized them. And monetizing means I got people to pay me to do those. So I just went onto Fiverr.com and Craigslist and different forums and said, hey, look, I'm doing this stuff. I'm freelancing. Would you pay me to do this? And people, yes, you start off small and you just about break even at first, but it does cascade into more, right? And that is really interesting. That is actually so interesting that every part of my life that I feel like I can offer, help with or service with, you can monetize it to make sure that you're getting a fair distribution of exchange value when there's something, really important that you want to do and people want to pay you for it. So the next thing is number 6, using apps like Instagram and WhatsApp to make friends. Now, making friends on Instagram was a game changer for me. I felt so alone growing up as an autistic person, and I felt like nobody understood me. And yes, I know it's all teenagers go through this stage, but what was the most interesting thing was that I felt really disconnected from people, and I needed to find other individuals or autistic individuals who were just like me. So I used Instagram to connect with other autistic people and autistic folk, and using apps like WhatsApp. And this was really interesting because when you use apps to help create friendships, you find people who are like you and that you can have a really good friendship with. And also I use apps for things like meditation practices that help me calm down, because if I say to you, oh, meditate, get rid of the thought chatter in your mind, I mean, it's ridiculous, like nobody can do that. But when I say to you like, hey, why don't you listen to this meditation app, and it'll change the way that you feel about kind of meditation, and you just have to listen to it and you'll actually meditate by just listening to it. It makes more sense, right? So using meditation apps was a great one. But more importantly, making friends on social media actually transpired, and I have real life friends from social media. So number 7, which is a really big one for me, was attending events. Now I attended things like Summer in the City, VidCon, Comic Cons, events where YouTubers and influencers and social media gurus collected and came together, because that was really important for me. When I go to those places, I feel at home, I feel connected, I have a vibe, that is my tribe. And I've never felt so comfortable in any situation when I'm at an event for something like YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, because those people are the people I vibe with. They understand my language, my lingo, they understand my job, they understand what I'm doing. Like, it's perfect, right? So make sure that you can attend events, obviously being sensory, kind of like, thoughtful about it, mindful about it, but make sure you attend events that are going to benefit you in your life and make you more friends and network in those areas. Okay, number 8 was a big self-belief issue. I had a big self-belief issue. I didn't think I was good enough. But then I decided that I was like, it's time for me to believe in myself a little bit, or not even a little bit, just a lot. Like say, okay, you know what? If that person can do it, I can do it. And when I switched my mindset to thinking like, I can do anything. Like, I'm a human, right? And humans built bridges and puts people in space. Like, I can do something. Like, that determined self-belief was super awesome. Okay, so number 9 was to build confidence. One of the things I learned very early on is that autistic individuals lack good amounts of confidence. Why is this important? Because confidence is the basis for how we present ourselves in reality and how we go forward and do things. If we're confident in ourselves, then we truly believe and we know we have the ability to carry out any task, any project, and the situation that we come across. And that was really important. So I spent all of my time building my confidence in many different ways, and I actually run a course on this. Now, not only that, the last thing, which is probably the most profound thing I ever learned, and I learned this from an occupational therapist. So number 10 is using the sensory diet. Now, the sensory diet is something very interesting. It's basically all about proprioception. Now, we know that sensory issues can impact your life on day to day, but what we didn't know about is spatial awareness. Like, when I open a door, I don't know how far to open the door before walking through it. I'm bumping my arms and stuff like that. Or if I'm putting something down on a desk, like, how far do I put it down? And I missed the desk. So this is all to do with deep muscle proprioception, which is like an activation deep within the muscles. Autistic individuals lack this kind of activation early on in the day. And so what we do is we have this thing called the sensory diet. And now it's kind of really simple. You do small tasks once every 2 hours to keep that proprioception level high. And it helps increase and stabilize and reduce a lot of your sensory processing issues. Like, it could be a wall press up, it could be going for a quick walk, it could be even having a shower, anything that's sensory stimulating to you, but also activating that muscles, like lifting a chair up, just reorganizing your room, decluttering clothes. Anything that you can do that involves a little bit of exercise and muscle activation will help increase the proprioception level and therefore help you with your sensory issues. And that is how I managed to make my life awesome. Hey guys, I just want to quickly ingest here that if you're looking to super up your autistic traits and use them to your advantage, I actually have a specific program online course that's really easy to digest, super simple to get, and you can get it right now. The link is in the description of this video and in my bio, that you can just go to www.learnautism.net/super, and you can learn how you can supercharge and make those traits into superpowers right now. So go check it out. It's really, really good.